Hello class, nice to meet you. I'm Carol Sargent and I'm going to be your instructor for fraud, accounting, and auditing. I hope you're going to love this class. I know I do. Misconduct and fraud and how to prevent it, detect it, deal with it when it occurs. It applies to all organizations, for-profit, non-for-profit, you name it. This issue is something relevant to whatever you're going to take in your career, whatever steps you're going to take. So I hope you find it valuable. There's more than one edition of the book, and the bookstore didn't get the order correct. So that's not going to work too well. But I have pictures of what the books look like here, so that when you go to your favorite online sites, if you don't go through the bookstore does have the first edition of the case studies, but it doesn't have the fraud examination fourth edition. In fact, it doesn't have any of the editions, and it doesn't have the second edition of the case studies. The case studies that we're going to use are in both editions, so either edition is fine. I would let your wallet be the guide there. And then if you find an earlier vision of Wells's Principles of Fraud Examination, that content is still pretty relevant. So you have some flexibility there. You do need the books. You need the case book and the textbook, but you have some flexibility about exactly which versions you purchase. There is a site for fraud resources and articles. There's no charge for that. It's a free website. Wall Street Journal right now, they're having a $1 subscription for the semester, so that's about as good as it gets. And you can click on this and put Middle Georgia State and my name in there. Sometimes they have Macon State in there, and I just apologize, but the Wall Street Journal cannot figure out that sometimes schools change their name. You can also look through anything that interests you. You can research in the Journal of Forensic and Investigative Accounting. That is open source. There's no charge for that. You will need to have access to a PC rather than a Mac for one of the projects. I'm going to be sending you the IDEA software by automation. It's a massive file, and so it just doesn't download very well. It takes days to download, and then it gets disrupted, and then all of a sudden you got to start over, and it just becomes a nightmare. So what we do is mail a flash drive to you. You download it, install it, make sure it matches the screenshot in D2L, and then you send the flash drive back, or you drop it off at the School of Business. And when you return the flash drive, I make a note that you are now set. So by the second week, I will start following up with folks that haven't sent it back, saying what's going on. We also use it for another class, so we need to have the flash drives back. If you lose it, then you go buy another flash drive and provide it. So it doesn't have to be that flash drive if you have a problem, but we do need it back. So, and you hopefully got an email from me with an earlier draft of the syllabus. There's a few things that have been added to the syllabus, so be sure you get the most recent draft. But if you haven't given me your mailing address, you need to do that right away so that I can mail you the flash drive. We do proctor the final exams. The only time that we ask that you come to campus, and we'll have more than one proctoring session so that you'll have some choices. One will be during the day, one at night, to accommodate you. If that's not possible, then we can provide, you can find a local proctoring at a library or university near you. You can get it approved by me, and then that will be your final exam spot. If for some reason you and I cannot figure it out, and in the years I've been teaching this, I've never had this happen, that we couldn't find a place that was convenient where you could be proctored. But if that happens, then you would have to pay a fee to be proctored by ProctorU at your home, at your computer. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just assume you get it complimentary, but that is the emergency option if we can't get it done. Okay, you can read the course descriptions and the learning outcomes. Here are the requirements. We have quizzes and exams, so the quizzes are in D2L, and the exam is where you come to campus and you take it. And then cases, there's 2 big cases, those first 2, and then there's fraud cases out of the fraud case textbook where you will discuss it. There's 8 of those that have been selected, and you'll discuss that on the discussion board. There's a couple of bonus points. There's some surveys about your approaches to learning. Doesn't have anything to do with the fraud content. If you'd like to take those, you get a couple of bonus points. So as you add up the points for the things that you did during the course, if you can see where your points land you in terms of the grade. If you please try to start all this stuff way in advance. I haven't put any barriers to you working on this, so you can work way ahead, especially if you know there's a pressure point or some important things coming up when you might not be able to keep up with the work. You can do it in advance. But if for some reason you cannot manage, that there's some kind of disruption, you may have an automatic 1-week extension, but that will cost you a letter grade. So hopefully you won't have to take advantage of that, but that is an option. After that, I don't accept it. So there are chapter lectures and quizzes in D2L, which I'll show you. And then there's a discussion board. This is a little bit more about how that's going to work. Quality rather than quantity, so shorter, clearer, more insightful is actually more likely to get full points than to ramble on. So take a few minutes to author your comments. I will be posting the instructions about the Maidon case, which is the medium-sized case, and the Mountain State case, which is your massive course-long case. I'll be posting those in announcements. So in D2L, you'll want to set up your announcements so that you see when these files are sent out and when the instructions are given. There's some university-level policies here. Please read those as they do apply to us. Here are the assignments by week. So this is week 1, August 14th. Hopefully you're listening to this during week 1. And we will be doing the first chapter in the textbook, and we'll be talking about the part 1 of Mountain State, and you'll be getting your IDEA software. So those are the things happening this week. Here are the due dates. There's nothing in particular due in week 1. And week 2, which will be August 21st, the due dates are August 27th at midnight. So the chapter 1 quiz, the discussion board for case study 1, and the discussion board for these 3 things here are due by midnight at the end of that week. And then what's due in week 3? The last day of week 3 is September 3rd. These 2 things are due by that time. So hopefully you can see that the rhythm there is that every Tuesday night, except for the first week of class, every Tuesday night there is the due date. They're all Tuesday night due dates at midnight. So Tuesday is the cutoff for this class, and that hopefully gets you into kind of a rhythm for always check before Tuesday night that you got the things done that you wanted to get done. This is your D2L shell, and they just changed it, so I am going to have to do some adjusting and editing to where the files are. The content is all here, but it may move around a little bit. But let me show you the important parts. Under Course Tools here is where you see the assignments, and under the assignments are the 2 big cases, Maidon and Mountain State. I haven't set up the deadlines yet. Those are still left over from the spring, but I will fix those. So those are there. There's a sample box if you want to play with it, just see how it all works. And then under quizzes here, you have an entry quiz, and that's a quiz that you answer 4 questions about preparing for the course. Did you read the syllabus? That sort of thing. And so you have to take that for the other things to become available. So after you read the syllabus, listen to this, you're ready to go do that. There's a post-midterm reflection, and so after the midterm, I'll prompt you to go do that. It's just a very brief 1-question reflection. And then here are your chapter quizzes. Okay, so the quizzes are about half multiple choice and half short answer. And you have a pretty good amount of time to do the quiz. They're not intended to be time pressure. And you can do it open book and open notes, but you won't have enough time to read the questions and then go read the chapter. So you will have to read the chapter and have a decent idea what's in the chapter. Not perfect. You can have it open, and you'll have enough time to flip back and double check and look something up, but not any time to read it, if that makes any sense. So you will have to have read it. The back of the chapter questions by your author are pretty close to what I'm asking here. So if you want just a general idea what might be on here, flipping through those questions at the back of the chapter is a pretty good idea. So that should get you set there. So those are your quizzes for the chapter. There's not one for chapter 17, which is the very last one, but all the other ones have a quiz. And then these are some surveys. Some of these surveys will be available the first 2 weeks of the semester, and some will be available the last 2 weeks of the semester. And you are welcome to take them. They're 1 or 2 points apiece. They take just a few minutes. I've got to adjust the dates on these, which I'll definitely be doing before you get too close to getting to that. You've got a gradebook here where you can track how you're doing. And so I encourage you, of course, to set up your alerts. What does that mean? So here I have a profile and setup. So under my profile, there's something called notifications. That's your alerts. And so you can click on that and you can put in, I've put in my MGA email here, but you can put in whatever email you check on a daily basis. Doesn't have to be your MGA one. And you can put your cell in here, your mobile phone, and then you can indicate what is it that you want to be alerted to. Of course, my email and my text go to the same device, so I don't put them in there, but you can. You can put whatever in there. So please put announcements in there so that you'll get the details and the files when I send them out on the cases. And also, if you want to get your grades when they're posted as the quizzes are graded and so forth, you may like to have that. And it will actually email the grade to you or text the grade to you without you even having to log in. So some folks really like that. Okay, so that should get you started. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really looking forward to it.